Yeah, you gotta go and
Good
come back again.
night, good night, good night, good night, everybody. And give people a few minutes to hop on.
Yeah.
Keep the laughing out already.
I know.
We are here.
Latte.
Good night,
Yeah,
Empress
sorry, man. I
Kid,
have time. I have time
Jonathan.
squeezing on my money, man.
All right. So good night to all of you and welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that 1 week off. We sure did. It's so bad that we were looking for the life that happened last week.
Yeah.
We had a meeting and everything because we wanted to bring something new for you. So it's new season, new episodes, and we are ready to go. So tonight we have Kita, who is to my left, Kita 246, and Chad is here, or Chad
What's
is
up, peeps?
here.
Whichever one wanna walk call it.
You're right under me, Chad. Good
Yeah.
night
Hi.
to all of you.
Good night, folks. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
This
Good
season
night,
is a new
everybody.
season. So that means that we have new curtains.
New season.
Yes.
New curtains yet put up, man.
My new season. But this season is going to be versus. We are going to be having our title weight heavy champions, lightweight champions, all the street
Heavyweight
fighters, all the
champions,
Mortal
everything.
Kombat, everybody in versus. So for
By the way,
tonight, our topic, so everything's going to be Kita versus Janelle, Chad versus Kita. Chad always about the men versus women. That's going to be a hot one. So you can look out for that. But tonight, I want to know if y'all, let me do something here so I know if y'all remember this. Y'all remember that?
whoa.
Oh, okay.
That's roasted?
That's the connection. That's the modern connecting.
Yes.
Now
That is what we're looking at tonight. We're looking at our dial-up, our internet as a tool versus internet as a weapon. That's what we're looking at tonight. Internet as a tool versus internet as a weapon.
Tool versus the internet as a weapon. Before you go any further, you know? Before you go any further, I just want to drop something to the folks. I just want everybody to know that the views associated with the Up Inside the podcast does not necessarily mean any of the views associated with any of our sponsors. So just turn out there for you guys, right?
Thank you very much.
Go right ahead.
And salute to the sponsors at all times.
Yes, big up. Remember years ago when we went from not having any internet in the house,
had to be outside playing.
Struggling, remember you had one line and then everybody had call waiting. And that call waiting allowed us to be on the internet. And when somebody called the house, as soon as the call, you get knocked off the internet. And at that time, internet was the hotness. Exactly, internet was the action.
I leave the real songs off of Napster, boy.
Yeah, boy. And like
songs. Yeah, all them songs I lose just because of somebody calling a 3 megabyte file. You spend taking the whole night to download. When you wake up in the morning at about 6 o'clock when people will start calling your place for no reason, you're looking to see hopefully completed. If not, you gotta start from the beginning and go again, boy. That used to be real pressure. These children today don't understand the struggles that we would have gone through.
They don't have a clue. They know when they got the Wi-Fi. As soon as they get with somebody's house, they say, "What's the Wi-Fi? What's the Wi-Fi password?"
Yeah. No, boy.
Yeah, boy. But times change. Things are different now than they were then.
Yes.
And I know the internet is a lot more easier to access and for children to access. And I think that now it is a very tough process to either, I guess, monitor what people do on the internet, because it's so easy to manipulate the internet now to your benefit, it's really easy to manipulate the internet to your benefit. It could go bad, it could go good, but they got a lot of positives in the internet as well as a lot of negatives, and I think that there's a thin line, and it's not we could.
thing. I still pretty much in vacation mode and all. I still here,
Yeah,
so
you
a
clearly
little.
still on vacation.
Yeah, I just cool in and learn the conversation, Bill, and listening, watching the people coming in and having a seat. Make sure when I'm wearing a mask, cause today was funny real, right? And one place actually refused me service because they didn't have a mask, and not because they didn't have something covering my face. It was because they didn't actually have a face mask. I left home and I forgot the mask, but fortunately I had a scarf, so I was using the scarf to quote unquote protect myself and others. So let me get into this internet thing. Now, I from the time when we first got the internet via Carib Surf and Sun Beach, that we had the MSN Messenger Live, where at that point in time everybody used to type standard English. Nobody wasn't speaking in dialect. Nobody
Yep.
wasn't abbreviating words. Nothing like that. So language will become a part of the issues that we go through now. A lot of the shortened things, a lot of the things that don't make sense to me. Like just today, I was having this conversation in the barber shop. They got Trade Scott's Barber Studio, wherever you're there. And the youngsters, I
Everything.
was saying, what SYS mean? And somebody said the first little youngster said, so you say it. I was thinking, it's or something like that. 'Cause I was like, what? Why when I just can't type out these things? Like why when I just can't say the letter I? People's put two I's now, and then they would say that THT and left out the A, and I'd be like, this don't make no sense
Why?
to me. Why
Yeah.
why this language
But
seems so
but you know
weird
why?
now?
But you know why? Because
Why?
Talk to
over the
me, talk
course
to
of the
me.
internet, over the course of the internet, over the years, we get programmed to shorten everything. So from the time the internet started bringing social media
Uh-huh.
and like stuff like Vine, you only got 5 seconds or 7 seconds to post a video. You got fit
Uh-huh.
wherever you got into. It translates to everything else. Where Instagram is only give you a certain amount of time for a caption. Snapchat is only give you a certain amount of time for a story. We using these apps all the time. In the back of we mind, we gotta get through a quick message in a very short period of time. So you
Yeah,
got
that's
shorten
true.
words that you want to use shorten. So sometimes like but you realize know that in our society, right? We lose interest if we go watch a video for more than 30 seconds.
But
If
that's what I
somebody
was
send
just
you
gonna say to
a
you.
joke or saying if somebody say a joke or a video or something serious, if it don't last a minute or
Uh-huh.
less, you lose interest real fast
Lose
after
That
that.
is
And I
very
interest.
find
Yes.
true.
that
Yes.
that's what caused us to lose a lot of interest real fast in these things. Real
Yeah.
thing.
But not funny
I'd
enough, you
agree with
said
that.
that I actually experienced that with my daughter the other night. The tablet wasn't working, so she has control of what she does on the tablet. Obviously, it was supervision. So we were watching her Netflix on my laptop, and she would start to watch something. She would watch some of the superheroes, then she can tell me um she's bored. All right, bored. Say longer than a minute, longer than 5 minutes. She give me struggling.
Lose
Yeah, the,
interest.
the, the, the
I
thing
see
is
lose interest real fast.
the internet over time has shortened the attention span of not only children but also adults because once upon a time somebody could have sent you a 15-minute video and you would sit down comfortable and watch it.
I'm
But
watching it.
as Keita correctly said, whenever you receive something like nowadays people don't ever want to listen to a voice note that's like a minute and 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So and I a person that I
You
love to
got sent
send
to the second
five
button.
and 6 7 minute voice notes. I love that, and I like when people send me back. And I like when people send me paragraphs to read and think. I love that, but
No.
I understand that everybody is not into that anymore because, like we said, social media has spoiled us in a lot of ways, giving us information quickly. You remember once upon a time when we were teenagers, a song wasn't well or widely spread if it wasn't on 106 and Park. And if it didn't make it on 106 and Park, the song wasn't living. You understand what I mean? So,
It ain't a big
so,
song.
but
Right.
everything now is like so instantaneous, so
Yeah.
like instant gratification right now. But I want to get in
The
to some of the
topic.
things that we as people just go through. No,
Before you
one of my
hold on, just
first
so she was asking,
one
give
of
me a minute, Chad. Don't just pause. So she was asking what we were talking about
I
is
can't see
internet
this one.
as a tool versus internet as a weapon. I can't get anything.
Oh,
So
I
that's
ain't
probably
see.
looking back to me.
I guess that comment ain't come out on my side as yet, but I didn't see
Okay.
anything.
All right.
Yeah,
You can
so
so you
just
can
keep
Yeah, I
just keep
continue.
me
see it. I see it.
appraised.
I see it.
Yeah, just keep me appraised of what's going on.
No problem.
So let me talk about some people now using the internet in spaces like at work. You know, when you go work and let me say that you somebody that going to school at UE. So you working full time, you're going to UE part time. We ever got to add children into the mix. You just currently got a full time job and you're going UE part time. People using the internet at work to do UE assignments. You remember that fiasco at CBC when the man was watching the porn and you hear the noise coming over. It was the weather news, right? It was the weather news.
Yes, it was really weather.
Who could forget that, Dad? Who could forget that?
Everybody. I just
not millennials. No millennials will forget that.
I mean, think about it this way. Not many people used to watch the news. I was sitting down watching the news that night and I saw when everything took place. But like, you know, with everything else, once it gets on the internet, then everybody becomes aware of it. But had we not had the internet, I would have been the one telling the story. Listen, the other night, this, that's, and third. But let me talk about these people who be using the internet, man, for these purposes of positive versus the negative. So I just gave one where people using the internet to get assignments done during work hours. I feel like if everybody got some kind of like acclamation to what I just said, like I can remember going to community college and I was working full time at that point in time and I was doing assignments at work when I had the free time. So I don't know about you, Keita, or you, Janelle, that if you had any of these instances or if it's just me that's always the deviant, talk to me and let me know if it's just me.
No, it's very convenient. Go ahead, Keita.
Nah, just kidding. I just kidding. It was just kidding. It was just saying just you. But yeah, I see it a lot. I actually see it currently in my environment. I've seen it for a long time over the past my work life. I would say probably past 13, 14 years now. I've seen it happening every day. People going to school and having to balance that with going to work. People either bring to work devices and having to do their stuff in the lunchroom. Even before this whole thing where a laptop or a computer was so easily accessible, people would use like their lunch hour to find somewhere to use a computer and finish off, type in an assignment or plan their work and that sort of thing. And I mean, it's good and it's bad because at the end of the day, if you're doing it during your work time, your employer is you're on work hours. You ain't supposed to be doing these sort of things on work hours. You're supposed to be doing work. But at the same time, the flexibility of being able to not be able to do everything or cram everything in one day, you still got the flexibility of doing something in the office is also a good factor that you can actually still do a little work in between. So when you actually get to school, it might be a situation where you have less to do at school or less to submit or do when you're finished work. So there's pros and there's cons to it, but never violate the time format of what you are expected to do while you're at work, because you might be neglecting something really important at work, and you know how that could be interpreted. You don't care about your job, you can't get to do a job, we paying you to do a job and you're here doing schoolwork. I see it happen too many times.
Chad, start laughing.
I just having some fun. I having some fun. I having some fun with Sultry Soul.
Sultry Soul, welcome to UpinsideYuh. Welcome tonight. Keita's here again, hit a point across, and Sultry was confused. She said she thought it was a gossip podcast, but we want to welcome you. No, it's not a gossip podcast necessarily. We just talking everything. It's true. We could gossip too.
Yeah, well, we spotting we little thing, but wanted to see the comment. I say yeah, we up inside your WAP, but the WAP is the wireless area protocol because this is the internet. Yes, we using the internet to get to you, so we still up inside your WAP. You understand? So it's still working both ways. It just depends on how you view it. You understand? So
I guess you could say that. I guess you could say that the Up Inside Your broadcast is a benefit of the internet. So.
It definitely is. All right. So let me keep the conversation moving, right? What I want to say also is one of the beauties about the internet is the fact that we are all as a human race, a human society, connected via this tool. Once upon a time, if you didn't have the capability, the means, or the capacity to travel around the world to meet different people from different cultures, different backgrounds, you would be basically limited to the people that surround you or within a close proximity to you. But the internet has given us the capability to speak to people in anywhere in the world. Like I have actually spoken to, like, the first person that came to my mind was a young lady who is a Hungarian, but she's living in Canada. Like, I would never ever imagine connecting with somebody of that nature with that kind of background, having
Yeah.
not been, if I wasn't back and forth between the Canada and Northern America, or whatever you want to call it. So the internet, on a positive note, has opened
Agree.
up many possibilities and doorways to interact with people that we otherwise physically would never meet.
But
And
not
that comes as a pro and it comes as a con. It's a pro because you can meet somebody, you could exchange culture, you could exchange normals for me versus what's normal for you. We could exchange languages, we could exchange a lot of stuff. But then the con is the whole catfish situation, the term catfish, where that you think you're speaking to a particular person that looks like X, but they actually look like V. You understand? So when I had
Yeah.
any experiences where you met somebody outside of your regular culture, your regular
yes.
proximity, and they turned out, that happened to me many times. Like I
Oh,
got
I
stuck
know
with a
about it
couple
many
stories.
times. But I
Many
did
times.
have
A
that.
lot.
I did have that though. I had on high five actually in the introduction we spoke about the went because before there was BlackBerry Messenger and we had WhatsApp and everything. We had high five and before Facebook, right?
Like, fun.
And I met this guy from Turkey and it was so enthralled. I was like, oh my god, I entered somebody from Turkey. I was so excited. He sent me pictures and they're pretty legit pictures or whatever. But then as time continued, I realized, I was like, I'm a real pervert. No? I had to try to take a step back and he would be he used to message constantly. And I was like, but at that time, I would not have been getting any. So one way I high, I happy again, somebody from over in the Middle East talking to me. And then on the next day, I was like, this man perverted and want to ask me all types of questions and things. And you are
International
so
pervert.
open now to all of these different types of people. So the people,
Yeah.
yes, it may be the pictures that you see, but then the characters that you it would have
Yeah, but you
been
can't just,
high five, it would have been a
can't just
young
believe
adult.
you can't just believe everything you see. You can't just believe everything you see. But I guess young and foolish at the time.
I was young.
But
I know it wasn't foolish, but yeah.
A lot. Well,
But
fair
yeah.
enough.
As
Sorry. Yeah.
I heard this name
But
before. You're young, dumb, and full of cum.
I, yeah. But I just use the figure of speech. But before, like, you could look at the internet as like you meeting new people overseas, meeting new people elsewhere. But getting to know a person as they grow older, it takes a lot more than a picture. You can't necessarily judge a book by its cover. As Chad said, there's a lot of catfish going on in the world.
Yep,
I
yep.
personally never experienced it, but I've seen people experience it or fall into that trap more than once. I could say that
Right.
I've been watching over the past, I would say, a month and some, a lot of videos about people doing that as a tactic to lure you into actually hack you or get your information over the internet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you might find a common interest, you'll be friends with somebody from overseas, the person start
Right.
talking to you, and you don't know how the person is using the information that you give them. And
Correct.
sometimes it might seem like just a genuine conversation. Oh, like, back in the day, you used to have pen pals. You were written out to somebody overseas, and is it the more nice version of a pen pal?
House
Whoa.
boy.
You got
Yeah.
the
Carry
more nice
back way
version of a
back.
pen pal.
Yeah, don't talk about how
Yeah, and you got
excited
the
you
more
used to
nice
get when you
version.
see the postman coming. You
Coming.
just wondering if
Yeah,
if you getting a letter from your
exactly.
pen pal. You see that level of patience that don't exist no more, big one. That do
Yeah.
not exist no more.
Correct. So no, instead of having a pen pal, we using all these social media platforms, the Snapchat, the TikTok, the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter, and it's like you meeting people, but you don't know what truly they're doing with your information. Like, you from Barbados? Oh, what they got there? They got beaches, man. What your family like? was your best friend, who's your names of family members, and thing. And this thing, people secretly using this information against you, and you don't know because you gotta be on your guard. So yeah, I get the pros and so on of meeting people and seeing different cultures, but at what cost? Because you got if you say A, you gotta say B. I ain't saying that everything meet somebody that it can be negative or not genuine, but always got your third eye open to see what's going on.
Yeah, because they as what was saying. No, she was talking about it's a great business too. And then when you use that, when you start to meet persons from overseas, that is actually seen as networking, which would be a positive, and it used it as a tool. So yes, you'll have a lot of weirdos and everything on the internet, but then you also get to connect with persons in different regions that you can network with. You could build your business, share ideas or whatever. But it is so much to try to decipher and to sift through to get to what's really going on. Like if this person legit or not. They got the follow people on the internet. So as soon as they follow your business, you follow them back, and then they unfollow you so that they get more followers. And so it's so. And then like, the internet is always too much, as people have said, a lot coming at you, but sometimes it's really too much, and then you gotta be able to decipher. It brings you need to be mature when it comes to using the internet. You need to be mature. And a lot of people using it are not.
I know but one, but I get a lot of emails as well from my Nigerian uncle that I didn't never know that he had, telling me that he got 300 million US dollars from me, and I just need to give you some kind of information. But I up to know he's still waiting for money and he ain't get back to me yet. I waiting.
Are you still here? You should have flagged over to Nigeria.
Brother, Nigeria is a big place. So don't get on like if it's like Chalky Mount Road that's just one straight road that's about a kilometer long. You know what I mean? So I can't just go in Nigeria talking about looking for my uncle that tell me that he got 300 million USD waiting for me. Cause I am really about selling my body or anything to get back to Barbados.
But the thing about that, right, Chad, is in my line of work, I see how people fall into that scam, right? How people fall into those traps, right? I can almost say 98.32% of the time that'd be a scam. I don't think anybody from Nigeria sending
98.32.
Yeah, nobody from Nigeria sending anybody here that $300 million.
As I tell him when I write, let me tell you one of this here. I have so many stories of my escapades online that I could take up this full hour talking about these things. I remember one time I was on an Australian website looking to apply for a job, and that's another pro as well. The fact that we no longer have to hunt for work within our own countries. You can apply for jobs online depending on your expertise, depending on your field. You could apply for jobs online in different parts of the world who want specialized type of trained people, and that is a pro. The con now is what Keita is speaking about, where there was a person. I guess people capture your information or your internet activity, where that they would have seen that I was visiting these sites on Australia, different parts of Australia too. I wasn't just looking in Sydney. I was looking in different parts that would not be considered like the city or whatever of Australia, and I was applying for these jobs and everything. And then I got a phone call. I would never forget this day. It happened in 2015. This number just called my phone. Underneath the bottom, I see Australia. That now remind me of the fact of something that we done missed when we were talking about the beginning. When caller ID was the bigger thing, and if you had money, you used to had what you call it, max. Max is what you used to call it. When people will call you,
that
was where you had people who had money back in the day. That just clicked in my head. But anyhow, back to what we talking about. So this person calling me Australia, I see Sydney, Australia calling me. I was like, wait, the people calling me, boy, they could get through. So I talking one thing about me, I so skeptical of people. And I know the fickle nature of the human race. So I is a man that I question everything. So when this body call me, the body talking to me, I hear the accent, all of that stuff. I hearing in the background, it sounds like office because I hearing the phone ringing. I hearing people moving up and down, blah blah blah. when I heard this man start to give me a conversation about, because there's the thing, whenever a business wants you to work for them, they are the persons who would go through the process of getting you your work visa, getting you set up for travel to the location, and then when we start looking around for a place together. What happens is after the fact, they would work out a payment plan with you to obviously get back the money that they would have invested in you initially. Okay? So because I knew all of that stuff, I knew not to be an idiot when somebody come and tell me, "Oh, so if you know, you just give us your credit or debit card information, we can get this process started." I was like, my debit card in the car. Oh, just hang on until you go get it. So I was like, wait. So what I do is I pause and I listen. I tune him out and I listen to the background. Because I was like, all right, I could hear the busyness of an office in the background, but I ain't hearing, like, I can't hear somebody speaking English. All I hear is, and I hear papers rustling and all kind of things. Big man, I put on phones around get her because it goes to show you, right, that with every pro that the internet has, they got at least 13 cons that come in behind
That
that one
coming.
pro, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you know how crazy it is to, just like the situation I think that we spoke about in the last season where the guy that spent a whole bunch of money on tires with an overseas some overseas situation that he spent a good set of money on tires,
Yeah.
and then when they got
Mm-hmm.
here, so well they didn't get here or something like that. I can't remember, but the fact of the matter is that the internet carries so many pros, but I feel like if the cons kind of supersede where the pros gonna come in because of the ingenuity that people come in with to just scam people. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Scam,
we got people doing
it's a scam
things, man.
culture. It is a scam culture on the internet, and no matter what you do, somebody can find a new way to try to find a way to scam you. Whether it be catfishing, whether it be calling you telling you that you just test support, calling you telling you that you get the job that you're applying. Because these people tracking you IP address and that sort of thing, Trash. So that's how
Right.
these people get into you. So you can't just take everything at face value when it comes to the internet. Even things like as you said, cons like cyberbullying, like all right, for instance, we spoke about the podcast about the guy with the comment entrance, the way he
Mm.
was treated by social media for the mistake he made on what's not, which it never should have gone that far, right? At the same time, no, right? No, 10, 15 years ago, pretty much 20 years ago, when you did the comment entrance, this interview or this social media backlash would never be difficult. There was no social media. But no, the
Mm.
internet like anything negative to run with because people could post it and make something real funny over it or whatever and call it a day. I ain't saying that things that happen can't be made funny or what's not. But
Uh-huh.
they got a lane between what's funny and what's turning things a bit too far. And the internet does not forgive. So here's the thing. That was a way make a simple mistake and people dawn on that point of conversation. They didn't care if you get through with the word. They didn't care if it was hard. They just dwelt on the mistake he made in his speech, and that was newsworthy. That was meme worthy. So people on the internet, Instagram, they run with it, post on the page, and it was a big thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even though the boy
Yeah.
correct himself, they edited it
Yeah,
out.
it doesn't matter. That
But you
came
know,
afterwards.
that's
No,
also another good point too, because in information insensitivity is another thing where somebody's shot, and then you seen a video
yeah,
circulating before the news could get it, before
correct.
the family members are adequately or properly informed. That's also another
Yeah,
thing,
But
I
the
don't know
thing
if
is,
he
yes,
was.
but
yeah, but
Uh,
at the same time, Todd, sorry to cut you off, but at the same time, speaking of people that gang, abuse, or stab or shot, at the same time, the
mm,
Reese captured information and posted beforehand, but it got the negative version of that as opposed to the positive. Because 10 years ago, if you had told me that the police would have shoot somebody or knew somebody neck for 8 minutes, I wouldn't have believed you because
right.
I can't see police doing that to a black man. They ain't got the evidence of it. But at the same
Hmm.
time, police took Armani back 7 times. It on camera.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It on camera. You can see that police actually doing this here, but police can say, "Oh no, he was trying me or he was this and that." And you can see virtually, you can actually see what happened in a situation like that. So it got a good part, it got pros and it got cons. So that I guess that's part that you got to take into consideration.
Yeah, well, that's what he mentioned just now, that for every pro that the internet has, it got at least 15 cons coming with it. Because just like what you
You
said,
know,
that's actually very important. Sorry, Janelle, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
You sure? You sure
Yeah,
that
you're
sound
forget.
like that sound a little dismissive there. You know how the ladies is getting me to tell them, well, nah, you could go ahead. It's all right. I good.
Well, yeah, but still go ahead.
I good. And then you see this look, Kita. I good.
I good.
And then you see a
Mm-hmm.
net rolling and all kind of thing. But go ahead, Janelle. I want to hear what you were saying. Go ahead. Go
No, but
ahead.
you see,
Talk to
because
me.
we went down another negative line, but you see what the thing with that, I find the internet is really great when it comes to communication. So as much as we abuse it when things are communicated, I find that I get a lot more information now coming in from the internet. So when it comes to the same police brutality and the whole Black Lives Matter, when we are seeing these images, now we can actually see people being mobilized or whatever. We're getting more connected to what's going on, be it positive or negative, because the
Mm-hmm.
internet is such a good communication tool.
mm,
When it comes to everything, with like people dying, doing well. Years ago with the common entrance, you only used to hear about the children, the top 10 students. You only heard about them. Hardly anybody would have gone
mm,
to
Mm-hmm.
school after the exam to really talk to anybody about how the exam was for them or whatever. They had nobody
Right.
interviewing you, and certainly if they have somebody interviewing you, somebody would have come just with a book. And
Uh-huh.
no cameras, no
Right.
videography or anything like that. So
But we used to
I
do that
still
though.
see a lot of positives. Pardon?
We used to interview one another because you would come out
Yeah,
and
we
Keita
used to
would
do
come
it
out and say,
ourselves.
"Oh, the answer for B was hydrogen peroxide." And that time I got the answer is 73. And I like, how wanna get hydrogen peroxide for the, you understand? So we used to get pressure because that used to still take place, but it's just that we
Yeah,
wasn't all over the media. You're
all
right.
over
I
the
understand. I
place.
take your point. I take your point.
Yeah, so it still has a lot of
yeah.
communication. But then
Mm-hmm.
another,
Agreed.
I didn't
What
hear
what
you.
you
I
said
didn't
just
hear
now,
you.
No, I said
Keita?
Sorry.
agreed. I said I
Oh,
agree,
agreed.
agree.
Agreed. All
Yeah.
right, but you know
And
what?
then,
Go
mhm.
ahead. Go ahead, Janelle. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I
Continue.
was going on to a different topic, so you continue.
Oh, right. But in a positive light, I want to go over now because I'm doing negative, positive, positive, negative, and no predetermined order.
There's a
I like the
battery.
fact that the internet, right? Yeah, I would like to give a positive note regarding the internet because it gives a spotlight to businesses who would
Mm-hmm.
otherwise be, invisible had it not been for social media and its abilities to capture the audience of people and these sorts of things. Because when it comes to small businesses, it's not like they have these immense budgets for marketing and all of that other ad placement that the companies that do have the budgets will be able to get put in the nation, put on the airwaves, put on television and so on. So the internet is actually a godsend for small business
Small
operators
businesses.
and owners. So that is definitely a pro there. But then the con with that also comes that there's a lot of clown activity online. Like we were talking about, it get the same spotlight that shines on the pros. It definitely is a lot brighter on the cons because in one instance, the internet is a great place where that I can say, okay, I am visiting Barbados. Where do I go to eat? What are the activities? Where do I go? Where do tourists usually go when they want to have a good time? And you can get all that information online. That's amazing because then you don't have to rely on any one person or tour guide, quote unquote, to navigate your way around this place or this space. But then there's also the probability where people being nasty and malicious and vindictive where they will go and plaster
Inside
something
again.
negative, yeah, plaster something negative under the comments of a person's what is called that now, the thing where you give like a rating towards what is called that now, there's a particular site for it here. I can't remember what the
Oh,
name of it.
what keeps up for the
TripAdvisor.
hotels? TripAdvisor and things?
TripAdvisor.
TripAdvisor. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. TripAdvisor. So I went on TripAdvisor once or twice. to get feedback on outside people's perspective. Because when you're coming from abroad, over there is a faster pace. The customer service is always top drawer, or well, most of the time it's top drawer, or they put a lot of emphasis behind customer service. So I was just going to see how we were measuring up to the opinions of the overseas people. And some people, you could tell that it was coming from a very personal place of they just want to give this person a bad rep or this business a bad rep, versus I am genuinely here to let anybody know that when they're visiting Barbados, check out this place. You understand what I'm saying? So, but let me keep it on the positive note though, because like we got at Sultry Soul, she said, well, I think she was saying that she's a cosmetologist. We have people that wouldn't otherwise know about businesses like certain gyms that operate, because they don't have the notoriety like some other very big gyms like
big name
what was a big name gym? No, the names of things right. It was an S word. Names would just beat me all the time. Don't know why. But Surfside and these sorts of things. But then these smaller, all right, if a man open a little backyard gym, he could just take some video. He could say, all right, this is the location. These are the fees. This is what we got here. These is the machines. And it might cater to somebody who would otherwise not know that this business was in operation. So with that being said, we got continually bigger Trident cuts, Barber Studio. We got bigger Steve Bell for the menstruation cuts. We got bigger Alarosity for media production, because that's who's bring us all of this great content. You see how pretty everything look? That happened by chance, you know it happened we. Alarosity is who is the major engine and machine behind all of this, all these beautiful graphics, all of these advertisement places. And if you have your small business and you need space, you want people to know what's going on with you, contact us, contact Alarosity, and let them know what's going on. That was just a little plug there, so for the people them. And large off Trevor and 20's mobile teleservice. We got that out coming real soon, man. I'm gonna love that. Just wait. But entrepreneurship is a very big deal when it comes to the internet. But I want to talk about the bad part. I want to talk about OnlyFans now. I want to talk about these women that put in entrepreneur underneath their bios. That's OnlyFans business owners. Let me talk about them a little bit. Jamal, would you like to say something about that?
Business owners. They are business owners.
Your body is your business, and you're making money from it.
Oh yes.
You're making money from your subscription.
Yeah. Okay. But I just feel like the term entrepreneur just get.
But technically, Shadi, look at it. They're technically they are a business. Their body is their business, and they are running a business. They are entrepreneurs. It is like pretty much saying that they're self-employed. They are self-employed. Their body is their employment, and they advertise it.
Well, you could be right. You could be right, because even in the Bible they speak about Go ahead. Go ahead, Jay.
Come a long way from people used to want to go to Amsterdam just so that they could see the ladies in the windows. When they have them ready and everything to go in. People want to get all that. You don't have to go anywhere. You can get that connection inside of your homes. And so when they look at those things as the positives and negatives, including access, when it comes to like sexuality, sexual health and reproductive health, we get is a good positive where words are not stigmatized any longer. Like you spoke about me and the menstrual cups. 50 years ago, when they were trying to push him, he couldn't use certain words in the mass media. You couldn't print vagina and stuff like that. No, those words are not as stigmatized or anything because of the exposure through the internet. It is now easier for us to be comfortable with ourselves and to be comfortable with our sexuality. So many years ago, people would be living in the shadows, whatever their sexual orientation would have been. Now it's much different. People are more tolerant because of the internet. So when we talk about all of those negatives, a lot of positives can still come up and come out of them. I'm not a big proponent. I mean, hey, I love the internet, but I'm not a big proponent for how exposed children can be to it, But when with the ladies and the OnlyFans and things, they don't have to go down Nelson Street or whatever to make their money. They don't have to be stigmatized in making money in however they need to. Some are doing it because they can or they want to, and some are doing it because it is a need for them. So I still like that things have taken a good turn because of the internet.
Well, large off the tax-free dollars, man. That's what you gotta do. I'm looking for something on myself.
Do you think people just want to show you themselves naked for free, no they can make money off of it?
I want PlayStation 5, so I'm thinking about starting a OnlyFans just for that. To be honest. Just let me know in the comments if you will support my OnlyFans, please. All I'm saying is my neck. That's all I'm saying. All I'm showing is neck. I got a raw neck, so I can show my neck. Yeah, drop some ones in chat. Yeah, but continuing. You know what? I can give one another pro about the internet, and I don't know if anybody within the comments would be able to say, "Oh, well, yeah, that was me." But you know, once upon a time when you could not, like for example, my mother passed for Queen's College when she did the common entrance exam, but because her parents, my grandparents, were so poor, and we lived in St. Andrew, we couldn't afford, well, they couldn't afford because I wasn't born then. They couldn't afford to send her to Queen's College, so she had to go down the hill, which would have been Allen School. So people know that may not necessarily be able to afford funding or find funding to travel abroad to attend a university, because when you do that, you gotta look for ticket money, you gotta look for a place to put this person, you gotta pay tuition, you gotta feed, that person gotta eat every day, and then it's like you are a foreigner in a completely different area or place. So all of those overheads, unless you really had money coming in, you really can't afford to do something like that. But now with online classes, that you could do an online degree without actually setting foot inside of a classroom or leaving the country. And let's not go down the line like if we don't want to go away, because going away is a beautiful thing. When you get immersed in a different place, you know, you mature, you get responsible, hopefully. And there's something about that experience that you could never ever replace. But if you're looking at it from totally financial perspective, it is so much easier to still be here in your local home and do the online course and get your degree or whatever it is, certificate that you're looking to get done, and not have to deal with all of those overheads, and still be given an opportunity to, you know, do better in your life. So we definitely got to big up that. And plus too, now with the fact that COVID-19 is a major part of the conversation, still online classes obviously are the plug right now. Like if you think about it, online classes or online degree programs are definitely the plug. And we got big up the opportunity to do some online schooling and stuff like that. And let me say this, I think this is gonna be both a pro and a con, because the idea is just coming to me as I talk. You see, you're in Barbados, so I don't know if any of our international viewers would understand this, but you remember before COVID-19 became a part of the conversation, working from home was seen as something that was for overseas people. It was something that wouldn't be viewed as, oh yeah, we could have that in Barbados. We could definitely. But then when COVID came in, all of a sudden people started to adapt. Business places started to adapt, and work was still being done. Like Keto could attest to that. Janelle could attest to that. A lot of people that I know that worked in insurance companies and everything still had a lot of work to do and were still busy. So it goes to show you that the internet can be used in its full capacity here in Barbados, especially, and people need to just let go of this over people's shoulders, controlling your work hours, being in traffic, frustrating yourself. Like, it's time for me to walk away from all of that foolishness. Only if you are needed physically on the compound, should you be on the compound? If you could work from home, work from home. That's how I feel. So tell me what you think about that there. So and next thing, let me say it to Instagram music, right? That ain't available in my region. COVID-19 is here. Please get available. Thank you.
Well, Voodoo and YX is actually saying that some businesses still look down on online degrees, and we do have a good do have some issues though with like accreditation and stuff like that. I feel as though like when you're trying to hold on and everything, you're trying to control everything, and so you have people who are training. They spend the money. It is easier and cheaper for me to do this online course, online thing, and then you get ahead. But you do this online, though, the issue like this ain't good enough. That is what the businesses are coming back and say, well, this ain't good enough or what. We're trying to control things. As you know, of people who would have gone away on scholarship and done this is not online, but would have done a degree online, and then still have be waiting entire term for the ministry to decide if their university was they sent the person overseas on scholarship. It was a Barbados, well, not one of the Barbados ones from the Sixth Form, but they get the funding from here, and then you're still waiting on however long to see if it's accredited or not. And I think that is foolishness.
I use the person financed.
Pardon?
No, it's not the person that and they're the person that financed the actual scholarship per se.
The degree, yes. But I want to mention though with the education, no, this is where a negative comes in for me. With as much as the internet is, we get a lot more exposure and a lot more information. I find that we are weaker because of the internet, because we have become so dependent on it for education. In terms of spelling, etc. Nobody, I ain't trying to see how I spell something because correct the word for me though, and then when I type in it, I'm so sure what it's like, and so then when you want the children to rate anything for them, they're going to be using the slang because that's what they have, that's the norm for them. So the internet making us lazy.
My sister is Godson, right? My sister is Godson is 7, and from the time that he realized that he lost spell too much on the internet to find a video to watch on YouTube, the children all got this talk to text thing playing in their head now, so they're gonna talk it out now to the computer or to the tablet, and the tablet can convert to text so that they don't want to physically type out the word. So it got pros, and it got cons because it's stopping the children from the actual natural curve of spelling, and that is a major part of understanding and communicating, like writing words and so on in the book and that sort of thing. So is good. Is also very, very bad too. I agree.
So
I hear reading some comments. Yeah, Silly or 817 says also I find that since you're working from, I guess that's supposed to be home, they think they can call at any time, and that's obviously very true. Like people need to know when to switch off, because as far as I'm concerned, if I am logging into a system, like I also know someone who works from home and they have to log in by 8 o'clock. Okay, and you do X amount of hours and then you log out. As far as I'm concerned, whenever my job is over, that's the end of your time and the beginning of mine. So people who have like if you're a person that works on call, that's a different story altogether. You expected to answer your phone, be available at any given time, because that's the contract that you sign. But if you work a typical 9 to 5 job where that you clock in at a certain time, you clock out at a certain time, you have to be the architect of your own situation. So don't let nobody be calling you and telling you about work after hours. Don't do that. Like that, I think the onus is on you, the employee, to be the person to stay, all right, this is my time here, so whoever it is that calling. Or don't ever answer the phone to begin with. So you could look at it from that perspective.
When your employers, she would have met some beautiful ladies recently who said that their employers, like, they were told that they couldn't have their they had to have their red receipts, the ticket, it has to be on. They had to make sure that that they had, because if your employer gives you a phone, they say they are to access that whenever. There's another business in here that in Barbados that does the off-roading and stuff like that. Whatever time they call you, they want you to answer. So then the employee, if you do your pushback, you say, "No, I ain't answering that." then they give you a warning. Well, are you this phone? This for me to access you whenever. You can't tell me when to access you or not. And if you don't want to, we'll find somebody else who will be able to access. So as much as
Valid point.
we,
That was a very valid point.
yeah, I mean,
I just
it's
think it depends on the style of work, though. I just honestly believe it's the style of work that you're doing that merits you having a phone that would determine. All right, for example, I had a business phone when I was working for a company called Water Management Caribbean. I dealt with all paperwork inside of that office. I had a cell phone that belonged to them. I am not in the office, so I don't have access to the paperwork. So why would you be calling my phone when I leave the office? I just honestly believe that it comes down to what style of work
But
you
wait,
do.
but when you leave office with your phone if you don't use your phone, say office.
Well,
you
because
will
it's
leave it
needed.
there. Better
Leave
left
from the
in his
office.
door.
But I get your point, right? I just want
Uh-huh.
to take this opportunity to start the wrapping up process. Any final words
Right.
from both of you guys?
But
Janelle, ladies first.
there's one thing I wanted to mention though, and I guess we could
Uh-huh.
use it as the final point, and then it could be a precursor for another topic, is the rapid changing of the norms in society, where you would have
You
had,
said
like
rapid?
there's rapid
Oh,
changing
rapid.
of
He
the
was like,
norms.
rapid. There's a new thing.
Yeah,
No, what?
no,
Rapid, Lord.
you might,
But
oh, but that's
continue.
why.
Yeah.
But
Continue, Janelle.
you would
Sorry.
have, and the internet culture has introduced a new norm where we have a lot of things happening really quickly. And like once upon a time, you had funeral clothes. You go to church, you had church clothes or whatever. Now
Mm-hmm.
anything goes, and that really comes from the influence of the internet. And then when you will have like one day it is no cell phones in school. The next day is cell phones in school. The next day is well cell phones, but this year and because of
Yeah.
the outside influence and what is coming in from the internet. So I do
Right.
think that it's a lot of good, but there's
Right.
a lot of negatives because
And
it is
a
an
lot of confusion.
exposure. Yeah, it's an exposure to everything.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I want to reference.
I could agree with that. Just
Anything from
adding
you,
to your
Todd?
point. Yeah, I just adding to Janelle's point. That's very true. There's a lot of misinformation, misinterpretation, misconstruing, a lot of misses going on, man. And we need to do a lot better. Communication is key. Let me use the
Mm-hmm.
internet as a tool. I am all for using the internet for the correct purposes, whether it is staying in contact with family members who no longer live within a close proximity to you, keeping your education levels up there. You could access information overseas that you otherwise will not have within your particular area. You could use it as a way to keep in contact with your loved ones. Let me say, for example, Janelle is my wife, and I live with Janelle. I can message you throughout the day. How's your day going? Everything running smooth? Bum, bum, bum. But anything else that we need to speak on, let me do that in person
Yeah.
because the internet carries
No
too
problem.
many miscommunications,
Yes.
misinterpretations,
Yeah.
misunderstandings, misconstruings. And then all of a sudden, no, simplistic conversations are made terribly confusing because of misinterpretation and all the other misses I mentioned. So let me use it as a
Agreed.
tool to keep in contact, but let me keep it outside of real conversations where that we don't carry like the confusion and crossing of wires. So
Yes.
I
You
just
said the
want
entanglement.
everybody
You
right,
said the
right, right,
entanglement.
right,
What?
right,
Oh, all right.
right.
Yes, Peter.
Yeah. But wait, Keita,
All right, just a second.
You just hear that though?
What
You hear that just now?
Peter.
Yeah, I
Peter,
hear
listen.
it. I hear it.
Somebody will just get pulled out. But anyhow, that was season one thing. Let me continue. Continue
But
there, my brother.
at this point, no, though, I just want to say a big shout out to the sponsors.
Yeah, man.
You can
Big
list
up.
off the sponsors if you chat.
Yeah, not a problem. We got to say thank you all the time to Seabell. And when I need to go and follow Journey of a Bell on Instagram,
Yeah,
we got Alarosity Media
right.
Production. As I said, that's the company that is behind all of the beautiful graphics and visual things that you
That's it.
see coming up around in and around our
All
podcast.
around me.
If you need any
All up
kind of
here,
information,
all
check
across
it out.
here,
Check it
all the
right
way.
out. Don't hesitate to contact
Yeah,
them. We got Trevor and Tony's mobile teleservice. I think
that,
what they
that's
have
sure.
going on is one of the most ingenious and brilliant ideas that they have brought to Barbados. I got big them up. I can't wait till this ad come out and hit people. And then most importantly, we got a big up Traders Cuts Barber Studio because that was our first sponsor that came on board in season 1, and we are forever grateful for him, his business coming in. I ain't seeing any chat tonight, but big up wherever you is. I hope everything is cool. I hope everything is blessed, and we got more things coming though. Like the season now start, we getting things back in. We shaking off the cobweb because we a little rusty-ish from that little vacation that we had. But we got more things coming. Remember
I
this
also
season.
Want, I think before you wrap with it, I also want big up Barely Sober Entertainment.
Yeah, Barely Sober. Oh goodness gracious! You see, the brand.
My production company, and you got right now down. Really Sober Entertainment. We got big events coming on to the end of this year, so look out for
boy.
content from us.
And I can be both there, so all the people.
We can be up inside.
We can be up inside, barely sober. I can be sober though. I done drinking. The last time I drank, I claim a mask on top of put my luck. Don't we do that? Anyhow, so my thing is let's use the internet people as a place to just spread positivity. We know the negativity can come. You can't avoid it. Negativity is impossible to miss. But let's use the internet for all of the right reasons as much as possible. And let me stay in contact with those people. Let me make contact with people who we otherwise would not be able to be in contact with. Let me diversify our understanding of the world, cultures, societies, whatever. But let me just stay away from too much negativity, man. We got enough negativity in the world. We don't need to funnel that. We need to keep the positivity running. You understand what I'm saying? So big up the sponsors yet again. Alorosity Media Production, Barely Sober Entertainment, C Bell, Trading Cuts, Bar Shooter, Trevor, and Tony's Mobile Tire Service. If one ain't know, like we always say at the end of every podcast, we want to leave on a positive note. So with that being said, big take one of family flyers, take one of people business flyers, support the black businesses, post it on one of social medias, post it on one of statuses, post it on one of stories. Let me keep this thing moving, man. Big up on yourself anywhere when it is. Thank you for coming back to us again. Season 2 gonna be sweet, man.
Yeah.
Season 2 gonna be sweet. Versus whole time.
Versus straight through.
All right, and it was thanks for coming in, guys, and I will see you guys when I.